In this tutorial, we're going to use Adobe Illustrator CC 2020 to review Classroom and Book Chapter 6, which is all about using basic drawing tools. You're going to be creating a few different logos in this one. Using some drawing tools, you will need to use these eventually in your publication, so you might want to pay a little bit of attention to what you're doing. So let's go ahead and take a peek at what we've got. Before we can get started, you want to go to the file for the lesson and get this font called Phosphate Solid. You want to double click it and let's make sure you install it. Otherwise, the artwork for the other is not going to work. Let's go ahead and that's something I had to go dig up for you guys. Let's go ahead and grab that start file and open. And you should not get any font problems when you go to open it. Oh, we did anyway. Let's do find fonts. And I'm going to go ahead and phosphate. Let's go ahead and find. And let's go with all system fonts. Come back. This is what I get for thinking I know what I'm doing. Come on. I might have to reboot and see what we gotta do. Oh. Phosphate. Solid. There we go. Done. Alright, so it should have redone that one. It didn't really, so let's go to our type. Let's come down to find font. Let's try it one more time. And let's try and change that one. Let's do a change all to phosphate solid and done. Now we're happy. Alright, let's do a file save as. First initial, last name. Underscore in Adobe Illustrator, Classroom and Book, Chapter 6. I'm in my Lesson 6 folder, so let's go ahead and say save. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is mess with our document right here. We're going to go ahead and make this Camp 1 into kind of this sun with the mountains and the rivers. So let's go ahead and make sure that we're in Essentials. So we're all in the same one. I'm going to come down here to my artboards and make sure I'm on logo number 1 so I can choose that one. So the first thing we're going to do is mess with the curvature tool. We're actually going to draw some paths with it. So let's go ahead and grab the selection tool and we're going to click the edge of the circle. So let's grab our selection tool, let's grab the edge of the circle and let's go ahead and we want to make sure that we don't mess with it. So let's go to Object and Lock Selection. So Object, Lock, and Selection so we can't accidentally move it. Now let's go ahead and grab that curvature tool over in the Tools panel. Let's go ahead and grab our stroke and our fill. Let's go ahead and set our fill to none. Let's grab our stroke. Let's make it kind of that dark gray, so the one next to the black that ends with 90. And let's go ahead and make sure our stroke weight is about 4. So now we're going to go ahead with our curvature tool. We're going to start by selecting the path by releasing to create an anchor point. And we create those anchor points to kind of change the direction. So let's go ahead on the left edge of the circle, click to start kind of right here. It's going to create that anchor point. And the next thing we want to do is make a little bit of a horizon. So let's come over just a tiny bit and click. And now when we start to move that pointer away, you see that we start to get kind of an actual curve. So we want to have that drawing flex around those curves dynamically. So let's go ahead, we're going to go ahead and go up, and we're going to make a little bit of a horizon point. And see how it kind of gently turned down. Let's go ahead and make it up a little bit, and come down. And you can go back and fix these later if you don't like them. So this is kind of my horizon right now. It's kind of my, I'm going to go ahead and hit escape so I can show you the other part. Escape. So I can show you kind of what we're creating right now. We're creating this line right in here. Do a Control plus and zoom in. So we just created that line. Alright, if I don't like it, I can always go back through and grab that point, kind of resettle it, remove it. So kind of you do have the option, as long as it's blue, it'll let you move it around. I didn't want to do that. Undo. Instead of moving it, I instead. Alright, so I'm happy with it. Let's go ahead and do Object and Lock Selection. So now we can't accidentally move our horizon line. So next thing we're going to do is go ahead and draw a river path. So we're going to draw both edge. So let's go ahead, grab that pointer tool, we want to go ahead and start a new path with our river in here. I'm going to go ahead and come here. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to draw a little bit of a circle. Maybe make it do a couple of turns. As long as it ends up on the edge of the circle for now. I'm going to hit escape when I want to finish drawing. And let's go ahead and do a select and deselect. So I start a new one. Just pick another path and do this kind of same thing. And that's pretty awful, but that's okay. We can go back and fix it. We will go ahead, and now I want to go ahead and fix those a little bit. So let's go ahead. I want to draw a select. Let's do deselect. I want to fix this one a little bit. So with my curvature tool, I'll go ahead and click on the path. I'm going to grab this one and I'm going to move that anchor over just a little bit. Undo. Let's do a selection tool first. Let's grab that path. Now I'm going to grab my curvature. I'll grab that guy, make sure it's turned dark blue. Kind of move it over. Turn that one blue. I can decide, hey, I don't like that. I can go ahead and take a delete and delete part of those. I can grab those parts on a path and move them around a little bit. So make it so your river is what you want it to be. And escape when you're done. Go ahead and switch my selection tool, switch to this other path. I'm going to go ahead and with my curvature tool, go ahead and take out this part of the path. It's just too much. So I'm going to grab this one now. And let's move it down here to the bottom. And go all the way to the bottom there. And let's click this guy, move him in a little bit. Alright, so now there's my river. It's not amazingly perfect, but that's okay. I'm going to bring this down here a little bit. We're going to lose part of this river, so it's okay. Alright, so I've got that the way I need it to be. So now we're going to go ahead and maybe I want to make my mountains just a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my object, come down to unlock all. So it's going to go ahead and unlock things. Let's go ahead and with that selection tool, let's select that mountain curve. So maybe we want to make our horizon path just a little bit different. So let's go ahead and grab that curvature tool again. And we can grab here. And maybe we want to go ahead and grab that path and bring it down just a little bit more. You could add more. So maybe we want to add another path. So you see we get a little plus right there, so we can actually get another part of the path we could add in there. So it's up to you as to how your mountain and river is going to look. If you don't like it, go ahead and hit delete. You can always take those back out. All right, when you want to finish, you go ahead and hit escape to stop drawing. And let's do an object and lock selection to make sure we don't move our horizon again. Alright, so we've got that part. So let's go ahead now and play with creating some corners. So we want to go ahead and draw the mountains for our logo here. So let's go ahead with our curvature selected. Let's go ahead and start over here. We're going to start our mountain. And we're going to go ahead and set our first point. And let's go ahead and create a mountain peak over here by hitting click. Now when we go down, it's going to start to make a round mountain, which we don't necessarily want. So I'm going to go ahead and come down here. And instead, I'm going to come back to this point that I had. And you're going to see you're going to get a... Alright, so we're going to move our point back to the top anchor. We should get a little corner point. Here we go. If you double click it, you're going to get it to turn into a corner. So if we go here, double click again, double click down there, and you're going to get those corner points. So it makes it so you get those nice straight arrows, and so you can draw straight things with the curvature tool, which you couldn't necessarily do. Alright, so there's another way to do that as well. So let's go ahead and draw a few more corner points to our mountain. So what I'm going to do is go ahead with my 2 corner points. I'm going to select, I want this one, and I'm going to shift select that one so we get, oh, I want alt. So I want to double click both of them, and double click that one, and now I've got that nice straight. And I'm going to go here to my selection tool, select. Let's go back to our curvature tool. I want to get rid of this point right here, so I'm going to hit delete so we get some nice straight mountains in there. So you can easily press Alt a few more times. It'll let you draw those straight as we go as well. So if maybe I want to continue to draw another mountain right here. If I hit Alt as I do it, it'll let me go ahead and draw those straight. So I'm going to hit Escape. I don't love that, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my extra mountain. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is create kind of the sunshine idea around this element. Now this one is a little bit tricky, but it's not impossible. Let's go ahead and do a Control S and save what we have so far. Now let's go ahead and with our selection tool grab this dashed line that's over to the side. Or it's a straight line, we're going to make it into a dashed line. So our stroke is 3. We want to come here to stroke. We want to change our line to dashed line. We want our first number to be 35, tab, 4, tab, 5, tab, 4, tab. So we're going to get kind of a cool look there. For our, how do we want it? We want it to be exact dash and gap length. So we want this first one to be clicked. Now what we're going to do is make copies of that line all the way throughout. So with it still selected, we're going to grab that rotate tool over here in the toolbar. Now it does matter where you hit because if you don't get the center now, you're going to end up grabbing and your lines are going to end up going wonky. So if you go in about the center, you're going to go ahead, we're going to hit click and hit center. So it's going to hit, oh, undo. Let's go ahead and grab that again. And let's go ahead now grab that rotate tool. We want to hit the center, hit Alt and center. So it's going to go ahead and change that. So we've got 15 degrees, we've got -15, and we want to say to copy. It's going to go ahead and make another one. So we want to go ahead and repeat that over and over again. So let's go Object and transform again. And if you can do Control D, you're going to see it'll let you continue to move that around the logo. So instead of having to copy and paste and repeat, this makes it pretty easy. The trick is making sure that you have that center point set before you start playing with it. It might take a few tries to get it to work just right. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is play with the bottom part. So let's go ahead and grab our deselect all. Okay, let's go ahead and grab a rectangle because we want to cut off part of the bottom of here. So let's go ahead and draw a rectangle across the bottom part of what we want to get rid of. It's okay that it's a dashed line. We're going to go ahead and grab our, alright, so we want to grab our selection tool. We want to grab the, oh, undo. I want to grab my, redo. Alright, so I want to grab my selection tool. I'm going to grab my rectangle and the bottom part of the circle. Now I want to go ahead and grab my shape builder, which is down here. And with my shape builder, I want to go ahead and hit the Alt key and go from here to across so we combine all those shapes. We want to go ahead and we cut off the bottom 0 there. We can go ahead and we will play with the bottoms of that river as well. Somehow I didn't grab those. So I'm going to go ahead and grab those river sections and I can either squish it, kind of decide how you want to deal with that part. I'm going to go ahead and squish mine. Alright, so I've got my river in there. And maybe I want to bring this line down just a little tiny bit. And I'm going to play with that path. I'm going to zoom in, Control+. Let's grab that curvature tool and play with moving part of those path points. Whoa, undo. Escape. Undo. Let's go ahead. I want that one to be. Alright, move you over. And move you down a little bit. Somehow I didn't do it right. Let's go ahead and double click on that guy, bring him in. Got too many points on that path right there, so let's grab that one. Dark blue, move it in. That's better. All right, so I'm going to escape. Happy with that one. Control minus. All right, so the last thing I want to do is grab my selection tool and grab my word camp and bring it up over top here. You can see you get the intersection, so you can kind of see how it's laying on there. And let's go ahead and do an arrange, bring to front. And you have created kind of a cool camp logo. If you want to add color, go ahead. If you want to go back and readjust these, maybe your horizon you don't like, don't forget to unlock it before you do it. You will be using it somewhere in your publication later. Let's go ahead and do an object and artboards and fit artwork to bounds. Nope, undo, because it's going to grab extra stuff. Don't do that for this one. So let's go ahead and Control S and save. I'm going to go ahead and cut this video into 2 parts so we can work on the other videos or the other elements. So we'll check with you in the next one.